Hey guys, it's Max here. Today, we got a VOD review for my stream, twitch.tv/collegiate esports cc. If you enjoyed the video, it'd mean the world to me if you took a second to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see updates on more videos like this, go follow my Twitter, twitter.com/esportscourses. Thanks guys, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Hope you enjoy.
I just saw that subreddit where I met you recently. I'm not a big Reddit guy, but I was trying to just kind of see what I could find out there that would be helpful. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, well, that message was really helpful. So,
That's good. I was worried it was going to be too much info,
no,
so I'm
no,
happy
too
that it
much
did not fall
info is
into that
not
category.
not a thing.
It's
Um,
good.
so I guess um, I usually ask about like your background Valorant experience, but I already kind of know that. So
Yeah.
and then so what would you say you kind of want to get out of the session today?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm super new to this genre in general. Like my exposure to it pretty much started when I started playing Valorant about 2 months ago. And there are things, so I went on like a huge YouTube binge for the first 2 or 3 weeks. I was watching like every skill capped video and like every one of those like Valorant improvement channels that's got kind of like a paid thing on the back end on their
Yes.
website. I was watching all the YouTube videos that they had on there for free. I was looking for different content creators that were doing educational content. So I found this guy, uh, Dragonmar initially. I watched a
Mm-hmm.
lot of his videos. Seems like he has kind of become popular as Valorant came out. I've watched um, a couple videos from this guy, Tanner FPS, some Bump of VOD reviews, and I've been watching a lot of competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I realized is like one of my big issues is just, and I don't know how to work on this. It feels like something that's just reps, but I wanted to ask you because if there's a way to improve it, separate from just that, is it feels like there are so many times that I'm on the map that I'm just overwhelmed and I'm really struggling to intake all the information that I feel like I could be intaking. Like I try to look at my map enough, and sometimes I feel like I'm missing things that are on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like sometimes my duo, because I play with that guy that you saw in the VOD review, I play with him in like 90% of my games, and the other 10% are probably solo queue. Um,
Okay.
there are times where at the end of the round he'll be like, "Oh, like what were you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize this." And he was like, "Oh, I called it out." And so I'm realizing that I'm getting a little like frantic sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
not hearing my teammates call outs, not noticing, things on the map that would be valuable. And so that's something that I really want to work on is getting to be a little bit more composed in just like every match, every round, but also um, as well in like clutch situations. That's something that I've noticed
Yes.
I like. And that feels like something that'll definitely be like a rep thing, but that's something that I've definitely noticed. I'm a very nervous like a clutcher. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel like the times where I have a little moment to take a deep breath and think things through, it makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, I personally feel like my aim is pretty good for somebody who's been playing on PC for only a couple months, and especially like my aim and mechanics specifically for Valorant, I feel like is probably on track for somebody who's only been playing for this long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm not too worried about improving that. If I feel like it doesn't get better in the next, several months from here on out, then I'll, try to put some more work in aim lab and DM a little bit more. But to be honest with you, I feel like if you want to be good at this game, you need to be playing the actual game. So I'm
Yes.
trying to play enough deathmatch that I'm, getting the reps in that you just won't get from only playing competitive, but still playing enough competitive that I'm, picking up the game and understanding of the game at a similar rate to my, aim and mechanics improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean the way it. So it's either you have a lot of like lower elo players have great aim and horrible decision making, and that's what kind of keeps them down, or they have bad aim but their good decision making is what
Right.
carries them, right? Because one can compensate for the other. Um, but then when you get them both, and that really helps. And then what you're describing is a really common thing, and it happens to everyone. Is like just kind of getting in this like subconscious state where it's like you're kind of just like you're playing it, and like you're saying, you don't hear your teammates calls, or like you don't check, like stuff just kind of doesn't like register. You're kind of just in a like it's a subconscious pattern, um,
Mm.
and so what you were saying about being overwhelmed is like what you want to try and do for that is just basically is picking out your bad habits and kind of going about them one by one, and with each one, um, basically, like what I like to try and do is set some sort of trigger. I can give you more examples of this, but something that triggers your mind to break from that subconscious like
Mm.
action. Um, so, you know,
So you're talking about something that would be like, so this is something that I know. So I hopped on the other day on Tuesday and hit record, um, and played. I gotta be honest, I was on like a pretty good streak of winning most of my games. And me and my buddy played 3 matches on Tuesday.
mm-hmm,
We got trounced. It was not a pretty session, but I thought it would be good for you to look at. Unfortunately, that's the recording I was telling you about that was all fucked up.
mm-hmm,
But for example, from that match, it was on Ascent, and I felt like there were a couple things that I noticed. One that I didn't really have an answer for, and one that I did. So the thing that I didn't have an answer for was I kept just getting pushed so hard, B main as Killjoy. Um, and I wasn't sure if it was something that I was doing wrong or if I needed to communicate with my team a little bit better to say, hey, let's, stack two on B rather than, two on A, one mid, one, market, one B. Let's do,
mm-hmm,
two on B and, two on A and one mid, or one on A, one mid, and three on B, because I was just getting my shit pushed in and I couldn't really figure out the answer. And this is something that I feel like I'm very pleased with is that I'm noticing that for the most part in matches, I'm starting to, I'm starting to be able to recognize issues. Um,
mm-hmm.
like there was a match me and my friend played on Icebox where we were down 9-3 in the first half. We ended up winning 13-10,
That's awesome.
because
That's a
we
great
were we
feeling.
were able to recognize some of the issues, and some of it is just luck because I calmed to my teammates. I said, "Hey, I don't think they're that much better than us. I just think we're playing overly aggressive. We were able to steal a couple rounds on defense at the end, and then do a better job on attack."
Mm-hmm,
Um, but the other thing in that the match that I played the other day that I knew what I was doing wrong but kept doing it anyways was because I kept getting shit on at B on defense. I'd have my turret up, I would throw a molly down, I would try to delay, and then I would get smoked off CT or market. And I hear them coming in, my teammates haven't rotated yet, and I feel like I don't want to give them sight. And so I'd be, if I was smoked off, peeking out of a smoke. If I wasn't smoked off, peeking and then getting shit on. Sometimes in those situations, it's hard for me to self-evaluate if I'm wide swinging or not, but I imagine a lot of those situations I was. Um, and I want to do a better job of not trying to take so many straight up aim duels because my aim just isn't that great yet.
mm-hmm. So what you're describing, so it sounds like you're playing kind of a weak side site as Sentinel, um, and what you're just describing is being smoked off market in CT, and like just you hear them and you don't want to give them sight. Like that's the right. You're actually making the right play and giving them sight. So in that
Okay.
case, if you're playing solo site, um, as Killjoy for example, try and like capitalize off your utility as much as you can. But then, um, the thing is, if you're on site, um, it even if you're good, even if you get one, you go one for one, you just get traded. Um, it's not really worth because then they have 4v4, they have sight, and they have bomb down in that.
Right.
So
Because
in
can
that,
I just to make sure I get this right, a 1v1 trade is advantageous for the attackers pretty much universally, right?
yes,
Because it spreads the defenders thinner,
yes, especially if it's
right? That's
given
the
at the
theory.
start of the round. So if
Okay.
someone's holding a tight at like an angle at the start of the round, for example, Ascent mid, and they get killed top mid, or from like Cap, for example,
Yeah.
it's just a terrible. That's a terrible. That's probably the worst
Right.
thing you can do because then it's a 4v5, something like.
Mm,
I guess even if it gets traded, then it
right.
makes it a lot easier for the attackers, especially on like Haven, for example.
Well, right. Because the theory is you have, even though the numbers are even if it gets traded out, you still have four players who are trying to cover what would normally be five positions. at the, you know what I mean, at the
Hmm.
start of a round, but the attackers can kind of pick and choose where they go, and if they group up, they can get numbers much more easily, regardless of which site they choose, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
you got the right idea. Um, so yeah, but also, so back to what you're saying about being overwhelmed. It's just I always like to like basically um, today when we go through the VOD a little, you'll figure out some stuff. Probably a lot of stuff that you want to work on, different
Hmm.
habits that you want to change bad habits, and so um, kind of just going at those one at a time. So like each day you're playing ranked. So say you play like 3 or 4 games one day. Like before you go into those games, just really focus on that one thing.
Okay.
Um, Kind of, and then after reflect how you did on that, and then decide if you need to give that more attention, which you probably will, or move on to the next thing. Basically, the thing is, if you have 5 things you're trying to work on and you're trying to work on them all at once, like you're gonna
Hmm.
work on zero. You're not gonna work on any of them, right? Because it's just too
Okay.
much. So, and then I can give you some more like examples of like um, how to break that because it's all about just a lot of times you're just subconsciously playing. You're not really thinking as much as just like kind of acting. And if it's a bad
Yeah.
habit, but then once you turn that bad habit into a good habit, then that's when you can make the right decision, like kind of without even thinking about it. And that's the point you want
Right.
to get to. And that also
Okay.
helps with clutch, which is what you were talking about. Like you see these pros, you're like, dude, how do they hold their nerve like in these situations? It's because they're not thinking about it. They're just making the right decision. They don't even have to think about it. Because if they did have to think about it, a lot of times they like overthink it and that causes like chokes and whatever else. It
Hmm.
also comes with just confidence. But
Right.
so I can share my screen here if you want to get started. And then also,
Yeah.
so are you just solely playing Sentinel now?
No, I'm not. I just wanted to send you a Sentinel VOD review because you said that was something that you were maining.
Yes.
Um, I've been trying to play more Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing a good amount of Killjoy and Cypher recently. Um, I play a lot of Sage normally.
Mm-hmm.
Before I unlocked some of the Sentinels, I was playing mainly Sage and Omen, and I was actually feeling really bad about my Omen play. I didn't feel like I was doing a good job because I was so new to TAC FPS. I felt like I didn't understand smokes, and sometimes the round would just start and I'd get so overwhelmed I wasn't smoking simple things like vent on split or something like that, and I wasn't feeling great about it. I went back to it recently, and I've been feeling a little bit better about it. So
Mm-hmm.
I play a little bit of Omen, um, a good amount of Sage as well. Sentinel split between Cypher and Killjoy, and then I played a little bit of Reyna at the start of my time playing matches, and I really enjoyed it. But the main duelist that I play when I do play a duelist now is Phoenix,
Okay.
and I don't do it often, but I my personal feeling is that it's good to be able to understand multiple roles.
Yes.
So I am trying not to one trick too much.
Right.
I
I
dabbled a small amount into Sova as well because I want to do a better job of like info gathering. But my duo recently switched from mainly maining Breach to mainly maining Sova, so he's kind of taken up that info gathering
yes.
that
So yeah,
mantle.
Sova is. I mean, if you're like, in my opinion, is if you like want to try and learn Sova, you have to like really commit and just kind of become a
Yeah,
hardcore, like learn every dart, like
gotta learn a good amount of
Odin,
lineups
all
too.
this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like really commit because he in my opinion is the highest skill cap character just because like how much situational knowledge like you can have with him and just like putting it into practice like is a lot harder
Mhm.
than just going to a custom, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know, a lot of times like you talked about not wanting to maybe one trick, but a lot of times I actually like don't think that's a horrible thing just because like it kind of helps you like learn the game through one role.
Mm.
But like you said, having a limited like a knowledge of other characters just to know more about their play styles is also good. But yeah, I mean, Sage. You mentioned you played a lot of Sage. Sage is a great solo queue character. I mean, she can just really turn the tide of a round. It can be a 2v3, and you can turn that to a 3v2 with like a pick and a res, for example.
I love playing
So,
Sage, man. Yeah,
and
I really enjoy
I
it
don't know
now.
if you've seen. Do you know Grim on YouTube?
Yeah, man. I've been trying to. That's the other thing. Is like my movement is like I think actually this is something that I realize I need to start working on is my movement is terrible.
Hmm.
And on top of that, one of the things is I've seen a bunch of the Grim Walls and I try to learn that
It's a
that
long
thing
wall.
where you kind of yeah, you walk backwards, jump and you
Yeah,
put a wall down.
it's
I'm
tough to be
so
consistent. Yeah, it's
yeah, I'm
really tough.
so bad at that. I need to put some more work into that. I think
Yeah,
that that's just one of those things that kind of
yeah,
comes in hopping into a, a custom lobby and just practicing over and over and over again. But
yeah. Those are I've been practicing those a little myself. Those are really fun. But
they
anyways,
catch people off guard. Yeah.
yeah, we can get started. So Haven, Killjoy is fine. I usually play Cipher if you're gonna
Okay.
play one or the other. Uh, and the reason being for that is just he can like especially on attack he can kind of cover a lot more like um, different areas. And I can talk a little. I like to do a lot of like lurking as Sentinel. I can talk more about that if I see a
Okay.
good time. But
Play Sage, bro. Come on, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. I bet you're nasty.
that's nice that you have a
How
duo
funny
too.
is
That's
it?
always
Fucking hop in the
helps
game.
out with the grind.
Yeah, it really does. And one of the things that's nice is we've been friends for shit like 10 years now. I've known him since high school.
Yeah, right here.
So we played Call of Duty together when we were
Right.
younger, and we never took anything as seriously as we've taken Valorant. But the nice thing about it is our
He's backside,
communication is
flash
pretty
it.
open. So
Mhm.
we tell each other, you know what I mean, if like we notice one of us fucking up on something or this or that.
Yeah. Right.
Got him.
So that's like a bad swing, even though I got the kill there, right?
I actually no. It's so that's not bad, and the reason being because like what happens if you die there, right? Sage gets the trade, and you guys
Right,
get bombed
okay.
down in a 4v3. So it's not bad. It's the sage should have left site, and I don't know if she was trying to do that or what. But like this is, I mean, you guys are gonna win this round, right?
I think we did, yeah. It's hard to remember, but
Thank you.
But yeah, I would pop my alarm bot down outside garage after you plant.
yeah, that's one thing that I realized of all this KJ utility, I feel so useless with alarm bot. I feel like I have no idea how to use it.
A lot of times they do shoot the alarm bot, but sometimes you can get it down and like if the alarm bot pops on that. So I'm sure you know how it works, but dude, if you get it to pop on people, you can do so much damage.
It's double damage, right?
Uh, I honestly don't know what it's a crazy multiplier. Like 2 body shots, you can do like 1/3. I think it is
Okay.
double. That would make sense.
Okay.
So here, this is sort of a smaller thing, but like, I'll make comments on crosshair placement as we go, because crosshair
Yeah.
placement is something that everyone can
It's
work on.
totally something I
Um,
need to work on. Yeah.
So just like here, for example, like there's no real reason ever to look at the wall here. So
Right.
like in this case, like just kind of post up an angle, like just post up on garage, right? Because the rays can't shoot
Right.
you from there.
Yeah.
So you always kind of want to have a purpose for your crosshair. So that's something that is just it takes a long time to practice, and
Let's go, baby.
and you can just kind of work on that like as you're playing. But it's just something to think about.
Okay. They darted outside garage. Someone digged outside garage. Nice,
got
nice,
it.
good team shots.
One C long.
Take it A, take it A.
I'm coming with you. I'm going short.
Oh, they're
right now.
going
I'm
A.
short right now. Raina's
C
clearing.
might be open.
One enemy remaining.
We got A. We got A.
Everything's open. We're on C with the bomb.
TT,
fucking-
left.
Yo,
Holy
my bad.
shit.
Rina, that's fucking.
Nothing really to complain about there.
Yeah, it's a solid round.
Just too good. Bro, good
Didn't have
team
that.
shots. Kid outside.
I know, yeah, that worked. And one of the things that I think I'll probably see a lot in this match that I was thinking about recently and kind of just started to understand is like not trying to do a better job of not getting caught W
Oh,
keys.
shit.
Like this is something that I think just because I have no experience with TAC FPS that didn't click until like 2 months in was like it's so much easier to take fights if you're already moving side to side rather than stopping going forward.
Right.
I mean, like I can't tell you how many times I've just just barreled into a fight like I was still playing Call of Duty. It's
Okay. So
Sometimes
do you know what
really
like counter
matches.
strafing is?
yeah, I try to work on it as part of my warm up in the range. I normally will do like practice bots and just go over them with the Vandal. I'll do a couple rounds like flicking on medium difficulty, and I normally like average somewhere between like on the low end 15, on the high end like 25 on that.
Mhm.
And then what I'll do is I'll whip out the Phantom and just try to jiggle pretty much and do like shoot like with counter strafing
Okay.
because I'm terrible at it. So I try to work on it then, and I try to take engagements like that in deathmatch as well. I try to jiggle angles and
Yeah, I can I tell you a good way to practice that here at the end of this too.
Sage B.
yeah. I don't think I aimed down sight as much as I did a couple weeks ago,
Which is
For what it's worth.
That's good.
because I think it's just one of those things. I mean, Call of Duty's the main FPS I've played for the last 10 years. So
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's on the
that
side.
literally the first thing I learned in Modern Warfare 2, like don't
Nothing,
hip
nothing.
fire, aim down your sights. So, and
Yeah.
then like a little training thing. So
Yeah. So, no, aiming down sight is super situational. I only really do it if I have like a fucking Vandal on icebox and I'm tapping from across the map. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a really like, or if you have like a stinger, for example, and you want to do like the burst. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I pause it here. Is there anything you think I'm about to say? Do you know what I'm about to say?
well, yeah, I'm totally like lined up with like my other teammates, right? Feel
Well,
like
I was actually
that's the
gonna
thing that
say
stood
if
out
you
to me.
like, so you have your alarm bot up, your whole team is pushing C. You probably want to get
Ah.
that down, so just kind of
Okay,
utilize that
yeah,
somewhere
totally cover the
funny.
flank a little bit.
Um,
Because you get a notification if they destroy it anyway, right? So you get the information regardless.
yes,
Okay.
so if as long as you put it somewhere where they can't like walk around it somehow, you'll get the info basically no matter what.
Right.
Window,
Yeah.
out window, garage window.
Because because in like a situation like this, like I feel like especially in lower ranks, dude, they'll just like run at
Oh,
behind
yeah.
you and like just W key, and so like
Killjoy playing here.
even if you go back long after you plan or one of your teammates does, it like might be just too late. So I mean,
No, no, no.
you guys might be fine, but
Heal. Do you have your Killjoy bombs on there?
Rainy garage.
Do you have your
okay.
Killjoy?
Well, so just backing it up a little bit. So, say you put your alarm bot here. You know they can't come. You plant. In my opinion, the play here would be put down 2 mollies on the bomb, not on
Yeah,
top of
and
each other, spread out, and then run long. Play with your Reyna. This guy's in. This Omen shouldn't be playing here this aggressively in garage
Right. Yeah.
because like look what can happen. He can come from window, door, the enemy scan. This guy's so like.
Heal.
I feel like your was your train of thought here to like go help this guy out basically,
Do you have
but then
So,
he
yeah,
just
so-
kinda,
I think he calmed that there was someone else there. Maybe I saw it on the map, but my thought was just to help. And then I think if you press play, you hear somebody ask if I have my mollies on. And so
Yes.
because I got flash, I say, fuck it, I'll leave here anyways.
right.
And right as I turn around, I think is when I see the Phoenix. But
Yeah.
I'm literally already...
Rainy
Garage,
garage.
garage.
No, no, no.
Yeah, you
yeah.
kind of got timing there.
Yeah, and that's also just one of those
Phoenix and Ray's garage.
indecisiveness things as well.
Yeah, so
is like-
okay, yeah.
And
think Sage
that's the
is
thing is
breaking
because
the
I
wall.
know I'm
They're
so
out, they're
new,
out.
I listen to... If I have a teammate who's confidently calming and is top fragging, I will listen to them over what I think is right, like a good majority of the time, because I just assume they know better. And so I think that's just a situation where I was like really focused on what they were saying in that situation, because I didn't really know. I mean, you saw I went over to garage. I didn't really know exactly what
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
So he told me to do something. I was like, okay, sure. Now I have some direction.
Uh-huh.
Phoenix ult.
Long, long, long.
There.
I got him. I'm weak as shit. Sage, I'm coming back.
How do you use
Wait.
I'm weak as shit. Sage, I'm coming back.
How do you use
Is that a wide swing or is that just me getting shit on?
So I mean this
I'm
guy. I
weak
think
as
you just
shit.
he just
Sage, I'm coming back.
wide swing,
Cause-
crouch.
Yeah, it
and
looks
then
like
you
I just
crouch.
got, because that didn't seem like the most egregious like peak, right?
Yeah, so I mean here I think so.
I'm weak as shit.
You see
Sage,
him.
I'm coming.
I was gonna say your team's there to back you up, but only breaches, I guess. Like right here, I feel like you just see how. One sec.
Mhm.
So
I'm weak as shit. Sage,
see how you see him here, and like
Mhm.
this is kind of exactly what you were just talking about, indecisiveness. Like you're probably thinking, do I take this fight? I should probably play it safe, get back behind this wall. If you just take the fight here, you're
Jump
better
on
off
back.
than like you try and kind of like run to the side, kind of like play it more safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just gets the shots off. And with the way this game works, like this game's different than CS:GO because like the way that like the bullets slow, like it's so tough to like jiggle peek things just because like when you get shot by one bullet, it's like you're super slowed,
Yeah.
right?
Did they not
So
have? Is that not a mechanic in CS?
it's not as
This-
much. It's not so.
Oh, okay.
In CS, like jiggle peeking is a lot. You
Dude,
can
I
you can
did.
jiggle a
I
lot
thought I was
easier.
losing my mind when I first started playing this game. I didn't realize that was a thing, and I was so confused as to why I was so. At first, I didn't realize. I just thought I was randomly slow, and I didn't pick up on it until
Yeah.
like a few matches in.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that
I
was
mean, there I mean, you just need to
One other
commit.
was
Just
A.
commit to the fight.
Oh, that's right.
try.
My bad, guys.
Where does
Lockdown too. If you guys want me to just call it out. Blinding. Soba darted out of garage, guys.
flash?
Also, one of the things, like the main thing I've been
Flashing.
focused on, like what you were talking about trying to focus on one thing. The main thing I've been focusing on, or one of the main two things, one being crosshair placement,
I got her.
the other one is
Trade,
comms.
res.
So
Yeah.
if you hear anything that you think is particularly like bad or something that I don't calm,
Main link.
or something that you hear that you think is good, like that'd be helpful because that's something that that's like the one that it feels like the easiest thing to learn and control for me, and it feels like it's so helpful.
Yeah, no, comms is something that you can consistently provide every game
Somebody
for your
watch the
team, whether
window?
you're playing well
Right,
or not.
yeah.
So I already like how that your comms are like is like a focus for you. I'm gonna rewind a bit.
I got her.
Good trade,
One
good trade.
ceiling,
Res.
one ceiling, one ceiling.
So here's what I'm worried about here. Here's what I'm thinking about when you're planning this.
Mhm.
Your teammate got a kill here on B, and a kill garage. So you have to think where the other players are. A side, and we have nothing watching the A flank. If they come window right here, you're dead. So
Fucked, yeah.
I got her.
and then just like as the round
Main link.
progresses, like if someone comes window, your omen's dead. Like this is so there's no one watching window this whole round, and I mean they might not come, but
Somebody watch.
you don't even have to hold it. I mean like all it takes is a Killjoy
Alarm
turret,
bot, right? Yeah, or turret. Yeah.
turret or alarm bot. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's something I'm realizing, like watching this back, and I think something that I'm getting a little bit better about, like because like I said, this match was from 2 weeks ago, so not huge improvements since then, but I think a little bit, and I think that's something I'm getting a little bit better at is using my utility to watch flank.
Mhm.
That when I first started playing Sentinels, I didn't quite use as effectively. And the other thing that I realized that I don't do well enough is placing my my mollies for post plant.
Yes. Yeah. That's. I mean,
Watching, I don't know if you've been watching the like Reykjavik matches, but like
My bad.
some of the post plant shit I've seen from V1 is inspiring, man.
Oh yeah, B1's awesome.
Viper
I was so
Silver.
sad they lost today.
Oh, that was a heartbreaking one, man. Yeah.
Two of them over there. Two A link.
I think feet.
It's
Phoenix
fucking
flashed out A
nice.
link.
But just like
My bad.
Phoenix A link.
there's no real. I guess I would say there's just no real reason you need to peek here, right? And it's
Yeah,
just
with
it
numbers.
seems like a 5v2, and it's like you think it's unlosable until it's not, right? That's always
Until
the
you
dumb
peak
rounds
because
that
you
you
think
lose.
it's unlosable.
Yeah, exactly. That's always the rounds that you lose. So and then here, I mean, you have alarm bot, turret, and molly.
Everything.
So, I mean, in this, you just need to try and kind of use your utility, and then and just not there's no real reason to take that fight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a world where you just you just kill them and then
Two of them over there.
the
Two A
round's
link.
over. But
I think feet.
it's always better to
Phoenix flashed out
make
A
the
link.
safe play. So you guys win that anyways.
Yeah, watch raise. Oh,
Wish I
yeah,
could see
watch raise. Oh,
if
Spike down, C.
Sage almost has her. Oh, she doesn't.
Down,
We've been
C.
close to have her all.
yeah, watch raise.
So I mean that's not a horrible peak. I actually would tell like if I was coaching this breach, I'd tell him not to take that peak, because if he gives the pick, like you guys basically win the round. So it's risky from him, but if I'm you, you're talking about comms. If I'm you, I call for the sage, like to get ready to double swing this.
Rather than swing it while
Yeah,
she's
so
healing.
you die and she's not gonna get this trade, right? Whereas if you guys double swing, you kill him, and that's what I was talking about. Where I always think 1-for-1s for the attackers are always worth, right?
Right.
So I would honestly, I'd tell your Sage swing out. I'm gonna bait your ass. I'm gonna get the kill, and then I'm gonna ult C site, and we're gonna put. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
So
So, and this is something that I'm like, and actually you'll see this in the last round. I don't know if maybe you already watched this through, but the last round of this match is a 2v1 clutch that my friend and one of the other players lost because they tried to the enemy team had planted C. This guy was Cubby, and they tried to double swing him to get the kill and then defuse, and they both got shit on.
do they?
Like
Oh, wow.
the mechanics of a double swing, it's one wide, one tight, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think what happened in their situation is they were coming down from C site to Cubby, so they kind of just got like in a line for the guy. So I
Yeah.
think that was the issue there, but yeah, this is just one of like just not to harp on that round too much, but that's just one of those like aim duels that I don't even feel that confident in. So
Yeah.
I don't know why I take it, but what you're talking about calming for a double swing makes sense.
Yeah, and
that's,
if
like,
you
an
and if
easily
you if
applicable kind of
another
change
thing
too.
I'll add on to that, if you like ask the Sage to double swing once and she does a terrible job, like just give up on it, right? Because some people
Yeah,
people will
yeah.
just like you know what I mean, stuff like that. Here when so it's good that you're putting your turret down to watch the flank, but I would put it more somewhere in this area, kind of farther back, so like if you want to be playing sight, it's still in range. Because if you're kind of anywhere past here, as you can see, I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of out of
That's
range.
one of the big things with KJ that I feel like
Yeah.
I struggle with is the range of the
Yeah,
of
that's
the
what's
util.
tough. That's why I like Cypher on this map. But
Mhm.
Killjoy's ult. I mean, I love Killjoy's ult on A. And by the way, that brings up another thing is
I've been holding on to that
first
forever.
round. The first round you have ult. Call for your team to do like an A push. Like it's that easy. You just ult, you know, in this little
Walk up
corner,
short, right?
short
Yep.
ult, and it's a free site for you guys every time.
Right.
So, um, like you
That's good
should
to know
you
for
can
Haven,
you
yeah.
can spam. And another good thing to do if it's like you and your friend, you guys are just trying to carry. Like, dude, just get the orb, especially on Haven. Just get the orb every round. You and your
Yeah.
you and your buddy, and like just spam ults. Like, that's why. That's the one thing that's good about KJ on Haven is the ult is so good for attack. Or if you want to
We do
use
that
it.
a lot on Mind on showers. For some reason, people don't like defenders don't fight for shower control like at all. I don't
Mhm.
really get why, but it feels like
One more
in
C-Long,
most
panic,
matches I
window.
play, maybe it's just a this rank thing, but
Running it
it
edge.
feels like showers is free almost every time.
Reach coming through C long with one more, I think.
That's I mean that's just tough.
Yeah.
Dodge the flash, man. Come on.
I'm
No.
so bad at that, bro.
No, the breach flash is so hard to dodge. It's so tough. So
Yeah,
I was just
I
struggling
don't-
on that one, but I mean, there's
No,
not,
no, I
not
could
much
tell,
you
but
can
like,
do.
I don't know how much it is like just like a pretty common in this rank thing, or if it's just being new. But like, man, I like by the time I think to dodge a flash, it's like a millisecond away from actually flashing me, and it's too late.
Yeah,
I'm getting a little
just
bit.
have to be like kind of ready
Yeah.
for it before you see. If you're just going off solely off the animation, you're probably not going to dodge it.
Okay, that's good to know.
Up short and then I'll
So that's more of like a mindset thing, like
That-
knowing.
But
Breach has been playing C site, like he just ulted, he might come push down. You know what I mean?
yeah, another thing you can do when you're ulted there is toss down a molly so he can't push through it, something like that.
That's
If
smart.
you're
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't rely on dodging flashes or really worry about it too much. Like if you do, that's great, but
Okay.
that's kind of on the breach to make good use of, and a lot of times they won't make good use of their flashes, but.
Cool.
Phoenix is still on site. Phoenix is still on site.
Sage could be hell? I don't know.
Watch it flank us.
You walk
Yeah,
by.
One of the things that I've also like realized that is so hard for me with crosshair placement specifically is transferring crosshair placement. Man, I feel like especially when there's elevation involved,
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the hardest things for me. And I feel like you see that in this clip where I'm trying to watch, B main and also garage door. Like the amount of time it takes for me to have good crosshair placement on this entrance to B for after switching from garage is like it's so difficult for me. It's really hard.
Yeah, that's all about mouse control, and I'm actually, it sounded like you weren't huge on aim trainers, but I actually am a huge advocate for Kovacs. And have you ever heard of Kovacs aim trainer?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of AimLab is the one I have,
Mm-hmm.
the one that I've used in the past. I was pretty big into it in the beginning, um, and like when I first got the PC. I've kind of strayed away from it since.
Yeah,
Um,
Kovacs is a lot more like you can have a lot more like kind of specialized scenarios. There's a lot more like options. Um,
Interesting.
so it costs like $10 or something. But if you're interested, I'll send you my Kovacs routine that I've used. That's just really like consistently doing has helped me out a lot. And whether you use Kovacs or AimLabs, I wouldn't use it to warm up. Um, at least in my experience, if I do 15 minutes of Kovacs and then a deathmatch and then I get into my game, like 15 minutes of Kovacs like fatigues my aim too much. You know what I mean? Like I
Interesting.
like to go in more fresh. So kind of what I recommend people is to do is um, do your aim train. So like Kovacs for the routine takes like 20 minutes. You do it either when you wake up, like right when you wake up, if you have some time, or kind of like just before you go to bed, um,
Mm.
or
But
both.
separate from the
Um,
session, you're saying.
yes, yeah. So then, but before you're gonna hop into comp, I just do like two death matches, comp, um, focusing on just one specific thing I want to work on that day, and then after I'm done, just before bed or whatever, I do a couple more death matches and then 20 minutes of Kovacs, and just like consistently doing that, like dude, that will work wonders for your aims. And by the way, um, don't worry about writing any of this out. I'll send you all this shit on like a doc after we're done. Um,
Oh, awesome.
but
Great.
anyways, yeah. So if you're interested, I'll just add in the Kovacs thing because it can't hurt. And if you
Yeah,
are
throw it in
interested in
there.
getting into that, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of it is somewhat applicable to aim labs, as well.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
a lot of the,
yeah. I mean, you could
exercises
do
are similar.
aim labs too. So here I was gonna comment. So I love doing this shit. I love it as Cipher. So um, this mid window play. As your team goes A, you call for them to go A. Dude, they just over rotate here. So, but the one thing I will say is, your turret placement here is fine if you're going to be watching mid window, but you're in mid window, you're making a lot of noise, right? If you're going to be playing this, you kind of need to try and stay quiet. So just be walking, because if
So
someone
walking and
comes,
then
yeah, they'll be able to hear you and kind of know you, and it kind of ruins like you're holding the flank, but you kind of want more of an element of surprise, and then you
I
can
see.
even like a little earlier, like even here, like I would start walking, I would jump out window and silently start walking through B and get ready to like pinch here, because the
I see.
last thing you
Okay.
want is all your team to die on site, and they get on bomb and you're still in window and they're like, then your team, that's when your team gets pissed at you, right? Is
Right.
so so and
Right.
the
Because
more
this
you
play is all,
practice,
good
Heavy,
until everybody
seven,
gets shit
seven.
on site.
yeah, so then
Coming to you guys.
going back to site here, that's a fine play.
Would
But
you
then in this
recommend
case,
doing the pinch at once it goes 4v4 with a kill in the res from the enemy team, or would you say that rotating through to get with my team is fine since I have the turret up?
so um,
Could be hell. I don't
so if you actually start lurking, if you start lurking earlier, like your team is, you're kind of like just a little behind here. Like when you're, if you want to like
Okay.
lurk, you can even go a little faster. But like just an example of like, so say if you're already, your team's already on site here, you're all pushed up. Once
So I
your
could
team
already
gets
start the
bomb
lurk.
down, that's when like they're really gonna commit to the A push. Like if you're already like kind of in this area, when the sage reses this, guess what? You get a free double kill, right? It's just something like that. But then in this case, um, once your team, well, when does this happen? Once he dies, and
Heavy,
this, I don't like the pinch. You're gonna be too late here.
Okay.
So just kind of like, and like a, just in terms of bringing that into different situations, like just practice will kind of
seven.
help you figure out the timing on that. But like, when you turned around, this is decisiveness again, like you had mentioned. But like when you turn around to run, like yeah, your knife out, like gunning it here. And then if I'm you, um, I pull my turret, because once you get on site here, it's going to be out of range. It's going to be to no good use. So
I
if you
see.
pull it as soon as possible, you'll get it on cooldown sooner, and you could do like a turret peek with it. And then I pop my alarm bot down in this area just in case anyone's late flank.
Okay.
But we'll go from here.
Silver was heaven.
Yeah,
CT,
Sage hit
Enemy
80.
remaining.
CT.
CT.
Nice.
That was
Big
fine. Those
Killjoy.
are nice shot on the Sova. You don't. Even, I mean, the other thing is you don't even need to take that fight. You can toss
That
down
was
on.
that was literally the thing I was thinking. I was like, why am I peeking this? And then I
Yeah.
got the kill.
So yeah,
That
you.
first kill felt a little lucky. The second one felt like a result of some, work that I've put in for
Mhm.
like crosshair placement and spray control and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, the other play there is to put down your mollies and
Time for
go hide short, basically.
Yep.
This is that. Yep, I like this. Oh.
I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah,
That's
no,
so funny.
you honestly you just
That was
pop
so
if you
close.
pop it down there, dude. That's a great
Literally
spot.
just
And
pop
then
it
you
where
pull
it
your
first put it
trigger.
down, right?
So
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause you're.
placing swarm grenade. There.
I was so pissed when this happened. I was furious. Really did not. I think it would go that far.
CT,
I was
CT,
so
Yeah,
upset.
CT. She's out.
Cracks.
Placing
One more
one
CT.
enemy
March
remaining.
flank.
One on
Right?
flank. Sage on flank. Sage on flank. 100%.
Don't peek, don't peek.
Alarm bot out. My bot.
See that?
There's a bad
Right
alarm
now?
bot, essentially, right? Because they're just gonna shoot it. There's no point.
I mean, it's not terrible.
Nice
Good
round.
job.
I mean, you have really a better use. So the reason, I
Okay.
mean, she has to either. Like you could, it just, I mean, it kind of reinforces
Right
the
now.
info in a
Sage on
sense.
flank.
So here, like this,
CT.
this is like so here. Just another quick thing on crosshair placement. You want it more like up here in case she swings you,
Right.
or a little to the right, even if you're anticipating a wide swing. But
Knowing
then, like,
myself, I probably just was already in the mindset of throwing the util,
yeah,
which is why I had the crosshair there. But that's a good thing to focus on is keeping the crosshair placement, proper with your gun out, even if you're planning on putting down util, snapping down to the ground to throw the util, and then snapping back up.
this is so. I was just about to say on that Molly. So this is a, this right here is a scary use of the Molly.
She's out.
So you pull it out, like, and this is just like a situation where you're like, God, I always get killed with my utility out. But like, if you're throwing, you're right. No, she can just easily swing you here, right?
Swing, yeah.
And you die.
Well, that's what I
with
was
the thing.
thinking as I did this. Is literally that exact thought. Is I have been thinking to myself, man, I feel like I get shit on with my util out all the time, and I was watching Zelsis get shit on with his util out, like a surprising amount for at least a fairly like amateur observer of Valorant. It felt like in his matches it was happening fairly frequently that he was getting caught out with his util, and I was like, okay, not and I didn't view it as like, oh, I don't have nothing to work on. I was like, okay, this is something that we can all work
Yeah.
on a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because there was
So.
there was one on Ascent where he was by Jenny and they had like a 1v2 and they got shit on.
Enemy
Mhm. I haven't. I need to catch up on the games, but I love watching those. But then also on this Molly, I mean, she can just run around it, so that's not. So if I'm you, I tuck in here and then throw the Molly right here because she can't run
Yeah.
past that. And like
Well, the other thing
the
I was
Molly,
thinking,
the idea for having your Molly to delay her here is great because she's pressed for time. That's the one thing is time here. So I like the
Yeah.
Molly, but I would just adjust that a little bit and make sure you're in a safe position.
I don't know if I heard her or what, but I'm surprised I didn't put down the alarm bot there, like first. I must have heard her or something,
Mhm.
because it doesn't really add up to me that I would throw the Molly down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna peek off this flash. With mid.
Stunning aim.
Yeah, I was gonna say cover that. Sage B.
Go 70 in garage.
Sage is B. Silver garage.
She got me to flash.
Phoenix is just healed in garage. Flash Phoenix coming out
Two
of garage.
garage. Two garage.
You see me kind of dodge with my fucking face. Not
I
in game.
just saw your face
So
lights
funny.
up. It's
Got
funny.
him, I got him.
It's also funny. I did a slight twitch to the left, but I didn't do it with my mouse. which is
Flank.
Just fucking hilarious. This is literally what I was thinking as I was watching this. Is I was like,
Flank.
we did not. I didn't put any. info
Yeah,
down
that's
on
so.
flank for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's your job to have stuff on
Yeah.
flank. And there's a C flank and an A flank.
Oh yeah,
So-
everything's open now. Yeah,
Mhm.
at this
Yeah.
point it's
Two in the flank.
kind of chalked.
Here are two pairs of footsteps. Sova and Sage, I believe, on the flank.
Can you take it A? He's right here.
Last player
Ah, I
standing.
didn't think he saw me. Yeah, you can run it. He's coming back up there.
Terminated.
Get your back.
Nice.
Oh my god.
All right, they're
gotta
behind
This
you.
is winnable. This is
You have
winnable.
ult.
bro.
You have ult.
Winnable, bro.
This is winnable. There's nothing I hate more than when my teammates tell me
I don't
in
know if you should
situations.
drop ult.
No shit,
I'm
it's
pretty sure.
winnable. I'm not trying to lose.
I'm pretty sure I choke real bad here.
Oh, I didn't really.
Oh, okay. No, it must be thinking something else. I just get killing shit on.
I don't know
So
if
here, I mean,
I think
my first thought
real
is
quick, if you don't want, if you let me take a stab at this, I think
Yeah, go
would
ahead.
it make sense to molly CT to delay the push from there, throw a turret up on the boxes, and then plant?
I don't know if you should
Yes, I was actually gonna
use ult.
say almost exactly that. Yeah,
Okay.
Molly. So I actually would.
Here.
I
Maybe a
thought
lockdown even while I'm coming up.
That's tough just because the guy seems like there could easily be one coming flank.
Maybe if I
I mean,
throw
a
a
one
bot
v
behind
in a
me,
one
too.
v two, the thing is so if you, the one v the ult is okay. I mean, it's okay for 1v2, but to delay them, but
Better in other
I don't know
situations.
if you should drop ult.
yes,
10 seconds
Okay, that's
left.
good.
just because it's hard for you to kind of defend that as a solo person. So yeah, I'd say you molly that, put your turret up in the box.
Pushing you.
Oh, I didn't really.
They're both CT, it seems like, so yeah.
same
Yeah.
shit.
No, we'll use this drop.
I thought you meant for close.
But yeah, just getting some sort of utility down there, just because you're pressed for time, you gotta get
Yeah.
the bomb down, and they know that.
Just
I got it.
ult here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I moved up on this because I noticed that it
that's
wouldn't
the-
cover
yes,
heaven.
you ult there.
Okay.
The guy who told you to ult there, the other place was wrong.
He was wrong.
That's
Right,
the that's
yeah,
the you always want to ult, no exceptions in that spot.
You there
Your
to the
team's
left?
going out
Because
too
even with
early.
this, you leave a little bit of heaven
Wait for the ult.
Yeah.
exposed, but not that much.
So you can practice just lobbing a molly there, because a lot of times people will try and sit in that corner.
I see. So you kind of know that they have that open space there, so you put the
Yeah.
ult there and then
Yeah.
still throw a molly.
Yeah,
up there.
I mean you can freehand a molly there. There's not. I wouldn't really say you need to learn a lineup, but and then your
Right,
team
yeah.
just went out too early.
Wait for the ult.
Wait for the after two
Find
people have
green
already
box
died.
and hell.
Yeah, so that's what sucks. But
And
two
hell,
two
hell,
detain.
hell.
Hell.
You detained.
Variable removed.
In the smoke,
Done.
probably.
I'm stunned.
It's tempting to go for the
Okay, but
detain
CT.
people there, but you made the smart decision to not.
One
Okay.
heaven. Nice. CT. One more heaven.
That's a great molly. Yeah, nice.
Just a tiny bit late, right?
Yes, tiny bit late. I was
Yeah.
gonna say this is what I was talking about
Okay,
earlier
CT.
when I said you can molly and breach ult. Like you pop it down
One
ASAP,
heaven.
basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
CT. One more heaven.
That's one thing I've noticed about myself is I'm still like learning so much that like my utility usage is not. It can be so much crisper. So much
Yeah,
crisper.
that's why, and that's why I kind of recommend just kind of at least for a while when you're learning, is to
Shots on
stick to
heaven.
one or two characters of the same class. Like is always really helpful.
Okay.
And it just
I feel like I don't.
kind of specializing to make so that it takes the utility usage out of the equation of like learning the game, right?
I hit.
You know what I mean?
shots with the fan.
When
Yeah.
you're so used to a character.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at.
He's gonna flash. Careful.
Oh.
He's gonna flash. Careful. He's gonna flash.
I'm being flat.
Reloading.
I hear you. What the fuck? Sage is playing backside C, I believe.
Oh,
Reloading.
when you want to clear
Breach is
this?
here too. Let's
Flat.
wrap, guys. Let's
He's
wrap.
behind the box.
Yeah, we can wrap.
Let's wrap. Let's wrap.
Watch pump.
Going A.
Yeah, A.
And this seems once we decided to go C, I should have placed some utility to cover the flank. I don't think it bites us this round, but that seems like consistent with what we've been talking about, right?
Mhm.
Trade me. Trade me.
Yeah, and then if you always want your utility, so if you trade back sites, then pull that
Mid
util.
short. Nice.
That's a good trade.
CT. CT. Nice.
This fucking Phoenix gets me every time.
Reloading.
See this is another good. So you have support on site, but it wouldn't be bad to throw your util down.
Yep, 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 yep.
Throw that shit in there.
Placing sentry.
I think I figured out that I need to throw my molly there.
Mm-hmm.
Placing. Turret down.
The one flank.
Turret
flank.
destroyed.
Yeah, good
Yep.
thing you put down that turret. Yeah, just when you're pushing,
Just got
you
your
probably
short.
put that down when you're first pushing, but the fact that you got it done anyways is good. You guys win this.
No 39 on her.
Yeah.
I got my mollies
You
on
just
me.
hide. Yeah. You play
Nice.
through it. Yeah. Perfect.
Bomb grenade out. Inside.
Not bad.
Thank you.
Defense, the fun part with
This is
KJ.
where it all fell apart.
Goes in.
Uh-oh.
Just go C, I think.
Yeah, so I've been
Yeah,
playing
you're
more
absolutely
Cypher just so you know, I've been playing more Cypher on Haven.
Mhm.
Shit.
Good, bro.
Because that's what I've just seen
This
more
will be
pro
very
players do.
helpful.
Right.
So it's just kind of like assume that they, have established the meta for a reason. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about a little bit though, because I have no clue how to do this, is
Nice.
how do I invest in pistol
You know
rounds?
if you need a
I
stun, so you
pretty
can-
much, as a rule, just buy my util no matter what character I'm playing and use a classic. But
It's kind of
I-
down. It's a lot down to personal preference.
okay,
You almost you on most characters you don't go with no armor or no pistol upgrade. So it's usually you buy Ghost or Frenzy. Some people still like the Frenzy. I usually use the Ghost. But then just depending on the character you play, like here I would say I like one Molly, one alarm bot, and armor here more than an extra Molly with no armor.
Okay.
And the reason being, you're just gonna get one shot by a ghost, right? And with the classic, it's a much more of a disadvantage. So
So basically,
it's a
whatever
lot.
util with at least a ghost or frenzy or light armor.
Yes, it's a lot down to personal preference. But if you like the ghost or frenzy, buy that and one utility piece of utility.
Okay.
And just depending on how you want to set up with a.
Is it like smarter to say on offense go with the ghost or frenzy, and then on defense to get the light armor?
I
Or
mean,
is it
just whatever
not
you want.
really
And it's down to your
Okay.
setup. I mean, sometimes I do it like on split. I have a KJ setup on pistol run where I use this buy that you're talking. It's just really depending on what setup you plan to use, and then or if you are really liking like one of the pistols.
Okay.
And it's I change like what I want to buy like every day basically. I mean, the thing is that you can't really go wrong. But here, the one thing I'm gonna say is like you don't want to be holding any utility when the barrier goes down, right?
Okay.
So you want to try and utilize your alarm bot.
Right. Either throw it down before the barriers go down, or be ready with a.
Yeah.
Turret
Good to go.
Stun it.
destroyed. Placing swarm grenade.
Stunning it. Yep, they're all out.
Grenade out.
I'm flashing.
Yeah. So it's too late. So so
Placing swarm
this is just down to like a setup kind of thing. So
Right.
I mean, I don't
placing
really
a
play
molly
like a
beforehand.
yeah. I don't play like a whole lot of Killjoy, but something that you could do here differently would be
This will be very helpful. Just
Put-
calm
but like the turret is good in a sense here to do like some long term damage because there's no damage fall off or with the turret. But if I'm you, I put it more like somewhere here like along the left, and then I put my alarm bot here in front of the barrier, and then Molly on each side. So
See, I was maybe
the way
this
you
is-
can combo this is the turret is not really often used for damage. It's more often used for the slow. When you hit someone with the turret, it slows them like considerably. And then if they're slowed, the alarm bot pops, and then the mollies hit is like the ultimate combo, right? So in this case, if you already have your mollies down, like here, you threw it a little deep, right? If you already have them down
Yeah.
here, you can delay the push, so you can do a lot
Right.
more damage here than what you did. And then also, like playing back plat is not the best unless you're playing like Jet, for example, where you can dash
We can
out.
dash out.
Because
Okay.
a lot of times you're good for one or not even. Because guess what?
Like
If
what
they
happened
see
in this
you,
round.
yeah, if they see you,
Three
like
swing
and
on
they
me.
throw a raise grenade, like you're dead, no matter like, and
Yeah.
some might not even get one. So,
So one of the things that I did in this match a good amount, and something that think I still do, is using a Killjoy turret almost for
Oh my
like
God,
info
let's
gathering. So like putting it up there so that
Nice.
if they come see long,
Oh my God, let's fucking go.
they'll see the Killjoy turret and
shit.
shoot it, or the Killjoy turret will shoot at them, and so either way I have the info.
yeah,
Is that an okay
I mean
utilization of it, or
that's fine, but like you're gonna like the whole thing like I mean you're gonna have the info. The Killjoy turret's fine up there as long as I mean if you have your mollies in a better spot and your alarm bot to like delay them, it's fine for info. But a lot of times you're gonna get the info anyways, right? Like you would have heard 5 running long, no matter if the turret was there or not.
I see. Okay.
And so if I'm you, yeah, I set up kind of with the mollies here, and what that does is it kind of creates a wall and it cuts them off if you time it right. So maybe one person or two will get through, and the rest will be stuck. And if you're playing like logs, you get one kill and you get off site while they're still mollied off. You see what I'm saying? And then you can have your team back you up more. Something like that.
Okay.
Iron. You're a
Your
liar,
team won that though. That's very nice.
Raj. Let's set
Yeah,
up my shit
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I feel like you have
Placing
more
swarm grenade.
delay than.
Definitely.
That was so sad.
Many barrier created.
Hella.
So what do you think you could do here?
I mean, I could put my alarm bot down there
Yeah,
so that if they
exactly.
push me, I would. Yeah.
Exactly.
I-
And
I
you
don't
can
love
swing
this.
off your alarm bot. Exactly. So
The other thing is, like, I don't even love this play that much, like, anyway.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if
and-
I were to do this, I think that alarm bot would be the smart thing to do.
and
Maybe
then
have
like
like a
you
molly
can
set
also
up as well.
you can also use the molly, and then that can kind of zone them off because
Mhm.
if they all four push in, you're gonna die no matter what.
Should I rotate off this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm coming.
Garage. Race.
Man, that alarm bot would have come in handy.
Yeah. Right.
Stand down.
Goddamn, save 7.
Spike planted.
Alright, I can flash sight. 1 second.
Hold on.
And
he's
I don't think you can. Were you going for a pick to pick up the molly?
Alright, he broke through.
Yes.
I don't
That
think
is-
you can. You do that? Is that a thing?
I have no clue, man.
I don't think so.
I don't think
you
you
can.
can, but I'm not
I
sure.
think it's only before the barriers go down.
Maybe
So,
that's what it is. Yeah.
pre-round.
This was definitely the beginning of me playing. I could tell you this was one of the first probably 5 matches I played Killjoy.
Mhm.
So I've definitely gotten a little bit better with it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Back up.
Here, I'll
Nothing.
rewind a little here.
Placing sentry.
Wait, see one?
See long.
So once again, yeah, making better, like just getting your util down.
Phoenix garage.
Look,
I'm in a rough spot here. I need your
like
help.
I think every time I play garage window or B window on attack, I can't win gunfights when I'm in the elevated position in a window, and I don't know what is up with if that is a disadvantageous position or what, but I can't win those fights for some reason. I can't figure out where to put my like spray through the wood or like whatever. I just
Mhm.
constantly
I mean,
lose those
I
fights.
think you
don't
just
know
try
what's
and, I mean,
wrong.
you probably just gotta try and like, so here, like the crouch peak kind of screws you over.
Yeah, super
in
early
that-
crouch, right?
Yeah. So, you just get
The
aim
crosshair
punch.
placement wasn't terrible, but I crouched like before I shot. Right?
Yeah, and you actually almost got timing on him.
Mhm.
Wall raised.
You can, yeah. Then he just kind of flicked and
Yeah.
counter strafed out of your crosshair. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't I wouldn't say there's anything really truly wrong with that positioning. I want to make another comment on like with Killjoy utility actually. So there's like kind of 2 ways to use it. One being comboing it together. So trying to get like I was talking about with the slow into the alarm bot pop into the swarm grenades. Or you can spread it out more and kind of use it more for info. So, for example, if you wanted to put your alarm bot on B, for example, and I'm kind of just throwing this out there, alarm bot on B and your turret on C, basically, and they're just there for info, and then that way you can play kind of heavier at like different choke points. So, for example, you could double up garage and double up A, and it kind of leaves more of the map. You guys can kind of cover more of the map that way.
There's only so much you could do with that though, right? Because of the
I'm in a rough
range
spot here. I need your help.
issue.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. So,
You should probably on this map
Back down,
only be able
back
to do
down.
maybe
Spike down.
B and C.
Sage on site.
yeah, you couldn't do like A and C, no. That was a good trade, by the way.
Spike planted.
You
I
know,
would
every
ask
once
your-
in a while I show some potential.
I would have asked your Sage for a heal,
I'm slowed.
Wait, back up.
or maybe you did. Maybe she doesn't have it, I don't know. But yeah, that was a good trade.
Spike planted.
So in this, I mean, so what do you think you could do here? When you know one's behind here?
I mean, I have mollies.
Exactly. Yeah,
I could probably
exactly.
get one to land like just to the left of the box. And
Yeah, so you can freehand a molly, land it right here, and push that guy out.
I think
Take
breach.
garage. Or try to at least.
In garage,
But
sitting in the corner.
raise 38
Last
garage.
player
Damn,
standing.
bro, how did I only hit him for 50?
Garage.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't a terror. By the way, that wasn't a terror. Like I mean, you kind of just have to You kind of have to take
Raise
a
was
fight,
playing.
but
Huh?
uh,
I did. I backed off.
You mind just going back a little bit? It
But
feels like I was
there,
saying something to my friend there about.
because I went over
This?
there. Phoenix was
Yeah.
there. I challenged the fight, landed a few shots, and just backed off it.
Yep.
But I was super weak, which is why I backed off. So I didn't want to like just fully swing. I was able to trade you out initially,
Quick
but
peeks now.
wasn't enough in the end.
yeah, I mean you made the right play. It's the trade and then you leave site
Yeah.
because you're just
Yeah.
giving a free kill if you
Yeah.
stay on site. That what? How many was pushing 3v1 person with
Think so,
20
yeah.
health? Yeah, you're so. I mean, especially with util left, like your mollies. So say you would have used them for backside or something, for example, or even just tried to um, bounce one in the like off the wall kind of here. Like you have a lot more value toward your team with utility left over than going for the hero play on site.
Yeah.
But
I think they're going
Sorry if you hear some loud breathing. My dog likes to perch up on me while I'm
no worries.
at my desk, and he is literally in my fucking face right now. Hi, buddy.
It's not short.
Watch your VOD.
Raise long.
So also, by the way, you don't have to be looking at the turret or
Yeah,
close to
hustle
it to
around.
pull it back. You probably figured that out by now, but just something small. Also,
Yep.
what I was talking about earlier with like just kind of like subconscious,
Graffiti.
like just kind of playing without thinking too much. It's like, have you noticed like kind of the pattern of, especially on defense, is this happens a lot, is like
2v5.
just doing the same thing every round. You put the turret down on top of the thing. You don't really
Yeah.
use any other utility.
I'm surprised I didn't see that guy before. Yeah, for a second.
Good vault.
Good try. man.
Yeah, that was a good try. I mean, not much really more you can do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
right,
tried
yeah.
to alter anything there.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm trying to work on with my cipher trips as well. Is
Yeah, they're starting to
switching
go
them
back.
up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Still placing them at the start of the round in,
Right.
advantageous
Reed,
like
can you switch
ways,
with me
but
next
not
round?
the same, so that it's so
Silva
predictable.
darts this.
Yeah, switching up as Sentinel to different sites is
Yeah, we can switch.
a
I'm
great
coming.
strategy because if you play the same site,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
probably
he's
just gonna
dart
stop pushing
here,
it.
and then they're gonna
Especially if you're doing like a great job of like holding them.
Placing swarm grenade.
Window.
So this is what I mean. This molly's fine, but what I was talking about earlier, if you want to like make a full setup, you can
It's
put
all
mollies
added,
like kind of horizontally here, so that if they run past even to like into this corner and like all this, they're like either forced to commit or come back. And then
Right.
putting your turret like on top of this box, I think is a good spot to put it. And then your alarm bot like here. So
Mhm.
the combo really comes in once they cross this threshold.
Here on garage.
They're up.
Rain, I'm leaving. I have my ults. If they get inside, I can ult it.
130 on.
Yeah, so I mean here, I mean even if you kill the Phoenix there, you probably get traded, right?
Ult it.
Yeah.
So this, I mean this,
130 on
I
Phoenix.
think going
Just,
into this round, based on like my initial
garage.
position, I think I was just trying to get, for some reason on defense, sometimes I think it's like
Waiting, see.
smart to just play like a one-time angle, and I don't know why I do that so much. I think that I do that less now, but around this time, that was just something that I think I was doing a little bit more.
Nice. Garage is dead.
yeah, sometimes those angles aren't. If you're playing like a strong site where you have like a ton of like if you're playing 3-on-1 a site, you can play like a risky like angle and try and go for
So
like
you don't have to for it.
two in a trick, something like that.
Mhm.
But like for example, it was nice that your team won that round, but the problem there is when you die here, garage and C are completely open.
Open. Yeah.
So, but then also like, yeah, your alarm bot garage is what would really help in a lot of these situations, because you can swing off of it basically from the. You don't have to kind of go into that blind.
Man, this is so sad. This is the beginning of the end.
They might.
It's always how it is.
Tag you.
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, two mid.
Drop the ult. Drop the ult.
Me?
Wait.
I can ult site if they plant. I can ult site if they plant.
Yeah, not yet.
I think this is one of the most. If this
Wait
is the
on.
round that I'm thinking of, this might be one of the most
Droning in,
insane
right?
things you ever see.
Can you stay A breach?
We had one retake on B Haven that was like one of the most fucked
One's
things where my
couple
buddy
garage,
breach
couple
ulted me.
Uh,
I don't think it was this, but I had this one match where I was dead. My friend breach ulted our Viper who had already ulted on B site, and he ulted the Viper. It was the most
They
fucked
walled
thing.
it.
I've ever
They're
seen.
walling.
Someone else-
I'm ulting B, I'm ulting.
Every enemy on the other team was oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, what's
So
his?
I ult, my buddy ults, and
Yeah,
then the
so
fucking
this is
Killjoy
shit's
was
about to fucking go
fucked.
down here. This
Yeah.
So this result's gonna come out, I bet.
And that,
In
yeah.
the breach ult. Yeah. So so it was probably
That was just bad comms too. I remember this like pretty distinctly. We had I think it was the Reyna that was calming us a good amount this game, and they just kept saying ult,
yeah. You
and
can't
it was-
listen to You gotta just.
and it
use
was
your own judgment.
unclear. So me and my buddy both ulted at the same time.
Mhm.
Last player standing.
Uh,
Beach, beach, beach.
I'm gonna save.
Wait.
did say that.
Too long.
So the logs positioning here is a little better, and backing off it seems like it's a bit smart, but kind of the same thing
I was
you've
just
been
looking
harping
at the
on.
buy. This is a
I need
fine
some-
buy.
I got concussed.
I'm gonna go to the.
Yeah, I should have backed
Dude, I
off,
I'm
right?
coming to it. No, fuck it.
Rather than like committing so much to holding the site with just a sheriff. Especially since I know my garage is not, or should know that my garage is not being held right now.
Yeah. So I would say you're right in that that regard to just
Right,
try and
like,
I
get
should
outside
almost
here, and then
flank.
Here's another crosshair placement. Yeah.
I should probably even go back
in
like
garage.
past
Might
where the
be in
slow
garage
is,
right now.
right? Towards my spawn. Yeah. It's tough because I got slowed off it.
50%
Yeah, I mean
left.
you can stay in that
Outside,
position and just play it
You
kind of
got that.
tighter.
I had sheriff.
But
I see,
that
right.
was the right. I mean, trying to get offsite there is really the only thing you're gonna do.
I think it's that indecisiveness that we've been talking about, like where I initially went, like started walking over towards flat,
Knocks me down.
Yeah,
and then realized I should get offsite. It's just got to be a bit more decisive.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I just like basically
Decision
pick your play and then decide, and like after the play is said and done, like you can like evaluate like,
Nice.
hey, was that a good play?
Lots.
Like basically after like every death, try and stop and think like, what could I have done better there? You know what I
Sure.
mean? Just kind of self-reflecting throughout the game.
Healing.
As long as you don't
I'm
make
not
the same mistake
I'm gonna see it.
twice,
Hit with
then
the
it's
You
just
blocked
it's
him?
kind of like learning. But yeah, just trying to be decisive.
Oh, behind us.
Jeez.
Outside.
I love my
Outside,
fucking
outside,
brother.
outside,
Defuse,
outside.
defuse.
I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it.
No time.
Yeah, just
Flash.
Nothing's too long.
They
nothing's too
arrowed
long.
me as well.
flash it again. Flash.
Right, putting that turret there, by the way, and swinging off it isn't a
think he's
terrible
right
play.
here.
Right.
I
Because
gave
then
him
You're
they're
saying
focused
because
on
it'll slow them down.
Yeah, and then they'll be focused on it, so they're gonna have to hit a flick basically. So if you're, I actually like playing more up on the logs here if you're gonna be playing in this. But at the same, this is also fine. It's easier to get off site. See, but yeah, just I mean, this whole game, if you have alarm bot and garage, I won't say that anymore, but yeah, that'll help
Okay.
out so much.
Turrets destroyed.
It seems like your team isn't really
Stunning it.
adamant
What's
about
up?
playing in garage.
What
Planning a
what rank are you? Did you say you're radiant now, or you just you had been radiant this act?
I'm currently no, I haven't actually played that much this act because I do a summer mowing business. I've been pretty busy, but I was radiant the past 2 acts, but
So
I
have you
haven't hit it
played
this
any
round.
lower elos at
What-
all in this
what
game?
was that?
or have you played like with lower elo players at all? Like, or
I've smurfed very limitedly, and I
Mhm.
was like gold in like the beta, but I haven't really
Yeah,
been
man.
too much lower than that personally.
That's like that's such like an insane variable. Me and my buddy try. I think me a little bit more than him. Try not to be like, oh, it's just our teammates suck. But man, there are some games like
Yes.
we've had. We had a raise on our team. I think it was the end of this night. Haven, who was shitting on the other team, and they were just getting mad at us for not like swinging with them or this or that. And I literally tried to tell the guy, I was like, hey man, I'm sorry, like we're kind of new to the game. We're doing our best, like.
yeah.
And he's like, I'm just gonna throw, and we were like, no, don't throw,
Yeah.
like, and he just totally threw. He
Yeah,
was like
I
shooting.
mean-
He was throwing nades at us. He was like giving like in text chat, like telling the team where we were. I was like mind blown by it. It was crazy.
Yeah, so at some point that's just like sometimes that's just unlucky, and like I'm like just being straight up. Like some games just they're not winnable,
They're
right?
chalked,
And I'm
yeah,
sure you know
totally.
that. But then
Oh
that
yeah.
just goes back to like having like a growth mindset when you're climbing, and that's just basically like you're
Yeah.
playing. That's just keeping the idea that you're playing to improve, not playing to
Not
win,
to
in the back of
and
your
not
mind.
to rank up
Yeah,
necessarily
exactly.
either,
Because like your skills, how this ranking up works is your skills gonna improve, and then there's like a delay before your rank catches up. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
just kind of like how that like that pattern works, because you'll have unlucky games and it's like a long process, but just like
Yeah.
not getting discouraged, and like also with toxic people, like you just kind of have to mute them and move on. Like people are
That's what I
so
started doing.
some people are just, I mean, like the people that are super toxic, like clearly like they got something else going on in their life that's more than just a Valorant game, right? Like
Yeah.
so, and then that and the fact that you'll probably just never play with them again or talk to them
Yeah.
ever. So like you kind of just gotta like just mute and move on is like the best strategy for that.
Yo, one
Because yeah, there's a lot of toxic players um, and a lot of shit players. But
One back right.
One by plat.
Two
deep
default.
behind bomb.
Two default.
Last player standing.
Wow. Oh, I see you.
One C long, I think, and one on the box is default.
One enemy remaining.
Last
He's
is long.
playing ult. Try to use ult. Try to get the ult out.
Yeah.
it's probably not winnable.
He did.
Yeah, just too slow. Those are nice shots, but and I think here I'm gonna rewind here just to make sure. I think
Plant C.
Breach is weak on site.
Yo, one cubby, one cubby.
I think it would have made more sense to wait out the Molly, right? Even though I got the one pick at the
But
end,
I was-
like
what I was gonna suggest is actually like kind of linking back up with your Reina and going out with her. Like when I'm retaking, like I always like numbers. Like if they push back into garage, that's kind of tough. But and the reason being, I guess another option would just be to try and get out faster here, because like when the Reina gets that kill, the Phoenix ult, and she's here logs, like ideally you're on site helping her like quicker. You know what I mean? Just
One back
it's
right.
like a numbers game.
One by plat.
like shift walk,
Two on
like
G
as soon as the
behind.
orb comes, just shift walk through it to try to provide some support.
Player
Yeah, because in this case,
One by
if
plat.
you're with her, she gets one, boom, you trade back to Phoenix,
Two
deep
and then you
behind
go
bomb.
from there. Something like that. So that's why, like just
Oh,
like
I see
retaking as two
One C long, I think. and
is
one
is
on the
is
box
uh
default.
is probably better than like splitting up, just because when you split up, the other team can have isolated fights.
Can I get
Maybe
this?
Yeah.
it's a force buy again, honestly.
Okay.
Should just give up this one round so we have.
Yeah, I'll be.
Wait for
Okay.
the second ping and then buy.
Placing swarm thing.
So another thing, so when you said the turret here for long info, another thing I just thought of, or like here for info, is like the turret is like pretty valuable, and like yeah, you get the info, but what is the info? The info is that they're here. You know what I mean? And like then your turret's gone for another 40 seconds. Like it's probably more valuable to get the info when they're closer, because if they're here, I mean they could just be defaulting, they grab orb and run back, something like, and then your turret's gone. So it's probably more valuable to keep it a little back, so that if they want to kill, they have to push up more.
Okay.
I just buy
Yeah, I
it.
see what you're saying.
Oh my goodness.
I'm hard rotating.
Same.
Yeah, some util would have been nice here, but I think I still get 2 picks.
I was gonna say I
Or just
just
one,
like
yeah.
you're probably good for one there.
One garage. All three.
I mean, yeah, for what it's worth, I mean that's not like terrible, because there's a world where you get
All three.
two there, you know.
Right, yeah.
Rotate.
I think I bring the crosshair a little bit too close to the box after I kill the breach.
Player
We got fucking aggro. Oh no, we're back on. Look, win. Even though it sucks.
Yeah, this is definitely must have been when I first started playing Killjoy, because some of these fucking turrets are
Yeah.
One's A.
One,
cringe
yeah,
even
don't
for,
forget.
you know, me before we
back.
had this
One,
conversation.
Oh, I'm going to
Yeah,
have
they're
Sova
coming
and
in.
Phoenix are here. Yes,
Yeah, the thing that sucks about this right now is like
I have my ult.
if they have a brain, they can see the thing bouncing, and they're like they know you're in the
short.
corner.
Phoenix is short.
Hmm.
But
Fuck.
let me get out here.
Hit 105. Nice. Sova was there as well.
Also, when you have your ult and when you're talking about like stuff you can calm, an example of that is just like tell your team like no matter what, if you hear them pushing, like get off site and we'll retake together with my ult.
That's
see what
something
I'm
I've gotten
saying?
better at,
Yeah.
specifically with KJ. Yeah,
So
that's so big.
so like then you have everyone in position A and you ult and you guys retake as a team as opposed to making it a three. They die on site. It's a 3v5 and you just waste your ult and lose the
Gotta
round
work,
anyway.
gotta
You know what I
work.
mean? So that's just
Yeah.
something you can calm. Because the coach ult is great for retakes and takes.
You guys
I think we get this round.
Flags are short.
Yeah,
On site?
130.
Flags are short.
One enemy remaining.
Got him.
Yeah,
Nice.
not bad.
Well done,
Nice, that's
boys.
it.
Great round, guys.
All right.
Moment of stomachs again.
Enemy spotted mid.
Got something strong.
Yeah. So what do you think you should do here?
I would just back up,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would maybe throw one molly long to try to delay in case they're pushing aggressively up there, so I avoid getting caught, backing out. But I back out and I immediately am trying to and I'm immediately placing my crosshairs looking for the Phoenix to be pushing aggressively garage because he
Yes.
still got his run it back active.
Yeah, I
And
would
I
say
just
that's.
saw he got a pick, so
yeah,
I
I
don't know
would
if he
say
has the
that's
time to
exact-
do it, but he might. So
So yeah, you see him on the. You know he's garage.
mhm.
You know Sova's with him. And one killed your turret, so you're on site with nothing right now. Now I'd
Yeah.
argue that you don't even throw the molly because you talked about getting caught. The chances that you can get caught trying to throw the molly right here is just as high as just running off site. So
I see.
my
Yeah.
opinion, you run off site, hold the garage push because you know he's gonna do it or he's gonna push site,
Mhm.
and then you call your team like, "Hey guys, let's retake garage so I can ult C and retake with your team." Because you dying on site here with your ult is like throwing.
Yeah.
So let's
Well,
see.
The other thing is because I know he has run it back active. If I
Oh.
and it looks like I do move.
Oh.
He's gonna push you. He's gonna push you.
And I don't think I think
help
this is
you?
a stress situation. I think I get pushed from behind too.
Lockdown destroyed by the grenade. Heads up.
Oof. Yeah, so I mean I would say yeah, I agree with you. That was probably more of a panic ult than anything.
100%.
Because yeah, yeah, exactly.
Throw up a grenade,
If
heads up.
you look at the range, yeah, that's not going to do you much good.
Yeah, I'll be.
Yeah, that's one of the things. This is something I'm like trying to stop doing with Cypher. Is I realize I don't know how to best use the ult, and so I just end up panic using it after like 7 rounds of not using it. I'm like, I just gotta use it, so I just throw it down. know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of these.
All right.
Just let me.
Yeah, this is the fatal round.
Placing swarm grenade out. Turret is destroyed.
I'm
I don't
coming
care
back
about the
side.
Silver Dart because I'm a moron.
I got stunned.
Grenade out.
That's terrible.
Swarm grenade.
I mean,
This.
Turret is destroyed.
so
I don't hate the mollies, but this is something that I've started. I think I just I don't know why for so long I would just submit to the dart. I think it's because I had so little confidence in being able to flick to it quickly.
yeah, or
and
just
killing
being
it.
tunnel vision. I mean, tunnel vision is also a
And-
thing. Just tunnel vision.
And that too. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't hate the mollies either, but I mean, just this one is.
Yeah,
they could just run
that
past it
one's long,
basically.
and-
So
This whole match has been criminal underusage of the alarm bot too.
I think that these guys are monkeys and they push through it anyway. So you just kind of down to positioning. You kind of tuck in here more and make them push you, harder basically.
Yeah.
You see the difference between
I got
dying here and
Right.
Jesus, what the fuck?
I'm coming back side.
The raised satchel.
The raise was this. Did
weird
the raise
satchel.
satchel the Sova? The Sova flew across the screen. Okay, let's.
I didn't hit.
One
He's distracted.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it gets
Flash,
bad.
flash, garage.
Trust.
one enemy remains.
Real bad.
And
See long,
copy,
see long.
copy, copy.
Okay,
Wait,
copy.
you
I can see. I can hit with the C.
Wait, did you guys lose this?
Yeah, this is what I was telling you about, man.
You missed, you
Oh
missed.
fuck, let's see it.
Let's peek together. Peek together.
Nobody kills the dart. They swing together and they just line up.
No.
Fuck.
Yeah, someone just.
Look at the text chat. Look at the text chat after this. I've never felt worse about myself in my life. These guys literally type. They're like, "You suck."
Yeah, I
That's
mean the thing,
terrible.
everyone on your team just played that terribly. This guy has 2 smokes, a blind,
Anything with the C.
Literally.
and
Yeah.
then like,
And
dude.
so little health. Yeah,
Hold
and
up.
that's how he's playing it.
So yeah, I mean, dude, just like at this point,
Playing ult. He missed. He missed.
one of them sticks it, the other one holds this guy. He's fucking slow, and
Together,
there's a.
together.
You got
I don't know why you didn't
Yeah.
shoot the. If you shoot the arrow, I think they win the. Not you, but if they shoot the arrow.
Sure, yeah.
Together,
Wait, let me.
together.
Dude, this guy's 3 flashes. Your friend has 3 flashes, bro. Get on his ass. Um, this guy has a stun and 3 flashes. And did shoot the. Um, but yeah, so
Oh, man.
okay, well, um,
This is great, man.
that totally should have been an overtime round. Yeah.
Oh,
But,
100%.
so okay, well, I would say just um, some main takeaways that I can think of would be on attack to just a lot of, actually on attack and defense, a lot of things with ability usage. So just utilizing it better to watch flanks. And you could do turrets that kind of watch both. So, example, if you put it on top of this box, it watches A and C flank as long as you're in like the range, kind of in the middle. And then, as for abilities on defense, like I don't think you use your alarm bot at all on defense.
Yeah, literally.
So
I think
you
I
could
used it once,
totally like learn some setups if you prefer Killjoy or like Cypher. I prefer Cypher on this map. And just making use of all your utility before every round. So a lot of the things that I was saying with like a lot of the rounds when they took Garage and like you died with like peaks that I didn't like there would have been fixed by an alarm bot, and like a lot of things long would have been fixed by like a better setup too.
Definitely.
Your positioning actually wasn't terrible. I kind of see like with your movement, it seems like practicing counter strafing would help a lot because a lot of your kills are just like crouch spraying, which isn't bad, but just incorporating different types of peaks. So kind of counter strafe like peaks for like longer engagements where you're kind of strafing back and forth and tapping more.
Yeah.
So, and then just kind of what you're talking about just like kind of autopiloting is what I'd call it through a game, where you basically are just kind of doing the same thing subconsciously. If you can create triggers to break that subconscious and then just repeating that over and over and then bringing a better habit into your subconscious, and that's like what the point you want to be at is like where you're making a good decision and you don't even have to think about it. So
Right, yeah.
you know, the trigger may be when you hear that big ass like bang when the bomb gets planted. That's like you check. That's when as Killjoy, like you look down at your utility and say, hey, I have 2 mollies. Like I should go put these down and then play like long, like defensively.
Right.
Something like that. And then let's see here. So really the main things that I thought of, a lot of things I was talking about today was ability usage, and then also I think for you, if you like pick a character that you really like and basically stick to that or 2 characters, and then have like a filler character as well. I think that would help you a lot, just like getting that ability usage down. And I loved hearing that you like watching the game and learning stuff from YouTube. That's like a huge thing. So keep doing that.
I
and, like,
love
learn.
this shit, dude.
Yeah, totally.
I could do this with you every fucking night. I really do enjoy it. I'm like constantly searching for VOD reviews, and man, I gotta be honest. Like I feel like there's a lot of them that are out there. I feel like they talk through a game, and I feel like I get maybe 2 rounds where I learn something from it, and the rest of it, I feel like I don't get that much value out of it. So I was super happy to be able to do this with you, man. I feel like I've learned like a lot, you know?
Well, yeah, great. I'm glad I could hopefully help out.
Yeah.
So, other than that, yeah, I can send you over
That'd be
a
awesome.
document. I'll summarize like the main points from today.
Sure.
Make sure I didn't forget anything, and then I'll also send you this like Kovacs routine if you're interested in getting to that.
Yeah, please.
And I'll send a video on like how to practice. It's called static aiming, and so like basically what Kovacs is good for is like it's basically just a fundamental like from moving your mouse from point A to point B. and that's exactly what you were talking about. Is like tracking your crosshair, like crosshair placement from like different. So if you're peeking mid and you're looking back and forth from like left to right, you know what I mean. It's great for stuff like that, and it helps with micro adjustments because
Yeah.
aim isn't really about flicking. It's not like you can't rely on hitting crazy flicks.
Oh
It's
yeah,
all
that's
about
what I've learned.
it's all about time to kill, which basically means from when you see someone on your screen, how fast can you kill them, and what that is made up of is crosshair placement and micro adjustments. So, like if someone walks onto your screen and your crosshair's on their head, all you have to do is shoot. And
Click,
like
yeah.
with the right, if you have good movement too, where you just tap your A or D key, and click and that's it. So, I would say that's probably I think practicing just fundamental aim mechanics and ability usage will take you a long way. So, and then I'll send you just kind of like what I do for like what I did for my practice routine when I was really like it actually doesn't, I mean, it doesn't even take much per day. It's like four or five death matches and 20 minutes of Kovacs and then some comp games but if you're really serious about improving, like just getting on a consistent schedule is the most important thing. It's like whatever works for your schedule, and it's different for a lot of people along with their preferences, but just being consistent with it is, you want to be
Right.
doing the same thing every day is better than grinding for grinding Kovacs for 3 hours one day and then not doing it for the next week. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
um,
Consistency.
so yeah, and then
That's awesome, man.
actually I can and that's all for the video today, guys. I hope you learned something to help improve your own game. If you made it all the way here to the end of the video, you're the best, and thank you for that. And if you'd like to receive your own one-on-one coaching session from me, go visit my website or join my Discord, both linked down below. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.